Yo, what's up? This is your boy Postman, and you're tuned in to Post in the Diary Room. Welcome to Post in the Diary Room. And as you may know, every day is a good day to get a delivery from the postman. And of course, if this is your very first time tuning in, please kindly like, share, subscribe, comment, do what is necessary to engage with the content. And before we actually go on to the actual review, I just want to quickly apologize to everybody for not saying anything and not, being present as far as Post in the Diary Room is concerned. But I really need to put it out there that I was going through some real nigga shit. And yeah, it's not really deep, but I'm back, I'm better, and yeah, I guess posting a diary to the world. And thank you guys for loving me, supporting me, and you can hear NG with my voice. I'm still going through a lot of shit, so yeah, especially with the spring festivities that were happening or taking place, I had to, raise my hand and be involved, and it didn't really work well in my favor because I now have flu. Singer-songwriter Belo Salo has officially released his debut project called Chozen Rejectboi. Now, I really need to put it out there that I first heard of Belo Salo's music while I was still in high school, and it was just through the song Feels. And back then, his name was Original Salo. And then he would then go on to be featured on songs like Nightmare on Bryanston Drive, as well as Bravo. And these songs are actually on Aries' project called Today's Tragedy, Tomorrow's Memory. I think he also had a really fruitful come up with his first album or debut album going number one on the R&B charts. More importantly, I actually do feel like Belo Salo needs to work on his attitude a bit more and be humble and essentially leave the noise alone and allow the noise to just noise, because at the height of the drop, conversations or comparisons between Belo Salo and the Big Hash actually got fueled, and he actually chimed in. Belo Salo chimed in and had some shit to say. But I think for me, taking a page off the Super Mega playbook is a problem, because you are now rubbing shit in everyone's faces, and I think it's a problem because this was his first number one, and hopefully not his last. In the case of Super Mega, it was like, it's normal because he can do another hit again. So hopefully Belo Salo can just work on that and just enjoy the success of the project, because this is a really good project. And I think it's a really competitive space. Yes, we're in competition. Yes, I'm the best R&B, what. Yes, it's fine. But also at the very same time, it's a collaborative space, and it's really important for him to take note of that. So I think that was really unnecessary on his end. It was just unnecessary heat on his end. The album kicks off with Made It Out that features Aries. There's a scratch sample that just gets played out there just before Aries does his thing, and he says, I can't forgive you, but I'll pray for you. To me, it sounded like he was addressing somebody in particular, and this person happened to take advantage of him. I think it sounded like he was addressing a girl. It sounded like he was addressing a dolly, And Belo has emphatic backings. He mentions that he came a long way not to get it on his own. And most importantly, he kind of harmonizes his way out of the joint. And Nomad, on the other hand, is arguably the best song on this project. He briefly opens up about feeling lost once upon a time and also being a nomad. Blackie Somnyama the Great is brought forth on the song Timing. He tells us about where he was, or where he comes from, to where he is, from a taxi to the Uber. And I think, just to be frank, life has been totally different for Blackie ever since he blew up. And this is arguably his clearest, or one of his clearest and most relatable verses, because it sounded like he had some hold bag out there, and essentially the 808s and the bass are at the helm on this joint. And more so, the vocals by Belo Salo sound really stretched. It's similar to what Post Malone usually does, and this is clear when he says yeah yo. Evidently, I think there's a groovy tempo on Shoot for the Stars. He mentions that he couldn't live by the book, so he burnt it. And I suppose this was actually an interlude, considering the length of. Produced by Mash Beats or featuring Mash Beats is always crazy, and this song has a really tough bounce with hi-hats. I think the beat is really explosive, just like the title of the song, C4, because the C4 is actually an explosive that was used during wars from as early as 1956. Belo Salo also makes mention of how he hated his biology class and that he's God-fearing, but he will not. He will not be turning the other cheek, just like the Bible requires of us. There is also a famous ting 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 sound from John Cena's entrance song, The Time Is Now, which was produced, or the beat was made by the legendary Jake One. And importantly, right, listen, importantly, I say this with an unblemished record of heterosexuality, but what Belo Salo did on this joint was really sexy. Words actually slid out there, and he says, the only ones left are those who never changed on him. That's like a double entendre happening out there, and if you catch it, please go crazy on the comments. And if you don't, so sorry for you, Angaz. Apart from this, Four Rivers of Eden has a really lovely touch of drums, and it sounded like Belo Salo, for the most part, was inspired by Freshly Ground's do body, you know, that joint. And Horrid the Messiah has a really distinct verse, and I think he had a really great verse out there. Everyone was having fun on that joint, but at the same time, Your Grace has loops happening out there, and Belo Salo says, or he rather touches on how much or how long he's been starving for this very moment. I must say that Belo Salo actually carried Double Cross, and it was actually in sync with the tempo of the joint, and it didn't feel like a song that's about friends who would then become foes. There's a whole sin situation happening out there, and the letters LOVE are defined as loyalty over vanity and envy. I think that's probably the craziest opening bar in SA hip hop, and you can quote me on that respectfully. Make It Out Alive has raw orchestrations that sound very full and close at the same time. There's also a message at the end from an elder who says, hey, just stay away, basically telling us not to be naive. Inadequate has a really shallow build that sounded alien-like, so to speak, but that was also useful, especially for trying to build a tension, because on the song, Belo Salo opens up about his family and the GBV that would take place in front of his eyes. He also mentions that he wants to be a better partner as per his mother's wishes, and most importantly, credit to him for opening up and having the ability to put that on a song. Personally, the kick drum on See You Another Day just hits all over the body, making that song a beautiful song. While Championship is more of a flower giving moment, because at the end, Jay Jody shares a message to Belo Salo, and the song is just essentially about Belo Salo taking time to thank all those who've shown him love and support. The sequencing here is magic, with songs just transitioning nicely onto one another. This is a beautiful body of work. The sonics just make sense. I enjoyed the sheer moments of Belo Salo rapping, and I think a fair rating for this project would be a 9 out of 10. Peace and bless. Post in the diary. Please kindly like, share, subscribe, comment, do whatever is necessary to engage with the content, and most importantly, I'll see you on the next one.